As COVID cases drop around the U.S. and employers welcome back workers to the office, our next guest is proposing a major shift to the work week as we know it. I want to welcome Joe Pinsker, a staff writer with The Atlantic, has a fascinating piece out titled "Kill the 5-Day Work Week." Joe, I know that I don't want to say the headline had a clickbait element to it, but I clicked, and I clicked many times. I actually sent it to many friends because it's fascinating. You think that we are moving potentially towards a 4-day work week?
Yeah, I think this is a moment when a ton of assumptions about work are just getting totally upended. And as I was looking at this and thinking about this more and talking to companies and workers, I think it's time to also start, instead of in addition to just revisiting assumptions about physical work and how much people should be paid. And I think we should start looking at what the actual work day looks like, what people spend time doing at work. And that leads us to thinking about how we might be able to shorten the work week.
So the real question, though, is I think there's two camps in America right now. There's one camp that says, forget about hybrid. We're going 5 days. We want you back in the office all the time. Even when they say we want to be hybrid, the true view is we want to be all the time. And then there's another view, probably represented by Silicon Valley and some of the younger companies in this country, that are embracing hybrid and may very well embrace this 4-day work week that you're talking about. You looked at some of the companies even that have had these shorter work weeks and claim they have much higher productivity.
Yeah, I mean, the companies that have implemented this have run the gamut, and a lot of them are knowledge work companies. They're tech companies. They're small marketing firms. But they also are other types of companies. I mean, there are nursing homes that have done this. I also spoke to a manufacturing company. I think there are all sorts of different industries in which it's possible for people to get the same amount of work done in less time. I mean, I mentioned this manufacturing example. It's not just about people typing on computers. I spoke to the CEO of this company that makes metal truck bed covers in central Pennsylvania. And last year, when they were trying to hire a bunch more people, they shaved 5 hours off their 40-hour week for their factory team. And they ended up finding that people were just able to get their jobs done more quickly. They were shedding their least productive hours. In addition to that, people were sort of looking up and down the line in front of them, seeing how they could speed things along. A lot of these companies had given their employees an actual real reason to start working more efficiently and more quickly, which sort of led to a win for everybody.
But just to put a fine point on it, total hours over the course of the 4-day work week, if you will, were what compared to the 5-day work week? I mean, are we taking the 8 hours and pushing them out to 10 or 12 on the 4 days?
Right. This is a point worth clarifying. These are companies that have taken 40 hours and shaved it down to 32 hours over the course of 4 days and not reduced pay. So this is a really key idea. I think there are companies that have compressed 40 hours into 4 days. They talk about their own sorts of productivity benefits. This is great. But my argument is much more about giving workers more time outside of work to do things that they care about, to rest from work so that they return more focused. A 3-day weekend in that context seems to really help rejuvenate people a lot more.
What is your sense of the in-office versus work from home part of this equation, which is to say, okay, let's assume we shrink down to a 4-day work week. We can't do that, by the way, on Squawk Box, unfortunately, because the markets are open 5 days a week. But you squeeze down to 4 days. Does it matter whether you're in the office or working from home?
It's a good question. I think it's one that individual companies are going to have to answer themselves. But I think it speaks to a larger point here about how managers tend to like having their people around them so that they can sort of manage them in person. And I think at a lot of companies, people don't entirely trust their employees to get stuff done. Switching to a 4-day work week is a huge trust fall. You have to trust that your workers are going to get their stuff done in less time and are going to be more efficient. And I think that this works in tandem with the remote work, hybrid work question, because I don't think it's safe to say that productivity is purely a function of how much time you spend in the office surveilled by your manager. I think that you can get a lot done when that's not the case.
Hey, Joe, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. You know, I do think there's this paternalistic attitude. They feel like if they're not watching you, you're not doing it. And if you're not having these silly meetings, then not enough is getting accomplished. But if you really can turn that productivity up, like in a manufacturing site, and get things done faster, I think the bigger question is, who gets the gains of that productivity increase? Does it go back to the company? Does it go to the worker to say, okay, if you can get your work done faster, you can get out of here earlier? I mean, it's a huge question, especially when productivity gains have been something that have kind of confounded us for a number of years at this point.
Yeah, I think the key in a lot of these circumstances is that by getting the same amount done in less time, you're basically giving workers a reason to buy into this. I mean, one of the companies that I talked to, sort of the prototypical example, it's this company called Perpetual Guardian in New Zealand. Their CEO came to their employees and said, look, if you can get your work done in less time, I'll give you an extra day off. So it's sort of it's a little bit of giving people a stake in what they're doing. And if you actually give them a reason to do that, they're going to be on Facebook less. They're going to be scheduling doctor's appointments during the day less. There's sort of all these different things that eat into the workday that people start doing less because they have a real reason to get their jobs done more quickly, so that later on they have more time to take care of the stuff they need to do, and more importantly, the stuff they want to do.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.